When my CEO wife saw me tearing up all the documents, preparing to face her entire massive business conglomerate, she finally realized. She could no longer control me as her husband, but when she saw the divorce agreement my brother handed her, she was stunned. It stated that I waived all assets. I even relinquished custody of our son. This marriage no longer exists except on paper, and I don't want to keep maintaining it. Signing the papers is best for both of us. You and your mother want Jayan Jingran to be your son-in-law, so I am just stepping aside. Having said that, I left this prison I called home. I thought she would be reasonable and sign the divorce agreement, but I didn't expect her to tear it to pieces again. Since childhood, I was raised by the Su family as their future son-in-law. At 20, I married Su Qinghyun, and at 22, we had our son, Jun Chen. My son takes after Su Qinghyun a lot, always quiet. He never approaches me on his own initiative. Last night, he spoke to me for the first time on his own. Dad, Uncle Jayan is very sick. He is going to die. His wish is to marry Mom. Dad, why don't you divorce Mom? At that moment, I completely lost all hope in this mother and son. So let's get a divorce. At breakfast, I voluntarily handed the divorce agreement to Su Qinghyun. I spent the entire night thinking about my son's words. Since he loves Jayan Jingran so much, I will also give up custody of our son and leave with nothing. The assets that originally belonged to us as a couple, put them under our son's name, consider it child support from me. Su Qinghyun put down her coffee and raised her head. Were you talking to me? I looked at the Bluetooth earbud in her ear and realized she hadn't heard a single word of what I had said. A strong sense of helplessness welled up inside me. Every time I speak to her, I always receive this contempt. I took the divorce agreement, flipped to the last page and handed it to her. Sign it, it won't take you more than a few minutes. Su Qinghyun still didn't even spare me a glance. She was about to open it to read when her son ran up to her. Mom, are you going to play billiards with Uncle Jayan later? I want to go too. Seeing Su Qinghyun get up, I had already pressed her mouse. Sign first. Su Qinghyun finally turned her head to look at me. She didn't expect me to have such a firm side. The son beside her kept urging. Mom, hurry up. If Uncle Jayan waits too long, he'll get angry and I'll kiss you. Then I'll grant you your wish. The next second, Su Qinghyun signed without even looking at the content. Mother and son quickly walked away. I didn't look at them anymore. I took the pen and wrote my name next to her signature. In this life, Su Qinghyun's name and mine appeared side by side. The first time was on our marriage certificate, the second time was here. After signing, my hand was still trembling slightly. I drafted the divorce agreement and sent it to the lawyer I had already contacted. Then I went upstairs to pack my things. The closet was full of clothes, but I didn't like any of them. No one knows that before the age of 16, what I loved most was laughing out loud, bungee jumping, and car racing. But ever since I married Su Qinghyun, I was taught to be polite, humble, and kind. Thinking about that, looking at these clothes that belonged to Mr. Gu, I suddenly felt a deep pain and couldn't help but go to the bathroom to cry. After a while, I raised my head. Looking at myself in the mirror, getting a divorce was the most right thing to do. Suddenly, I felt that getting a divorce was the wisest decision. I don't want to keep living in this cage. I want to break out of it and be myself, so I called my friend to pick me up. The Su family is not my home, and the Gu family, after I married Su Qinghyun, never cared about me. It's not my home either. My friend arrived at the door soon with a confused expression. Since you have time to invite me out, is today your birthday? No, you said a week ago that you would celebrate it with your wife and son. I was stunned, took out my phone and checked the chat history, and I realized that a week ago, I indeed reserved a restaurant for my birthday and had even sent a message to Su Qinghyun to meet up. But she hasn't replied to me until now. In the past, I might have felt disappointed, but now I am already numb. Thinking about that, I got into the car and went with my friend to the birthday restaurant. We went in. We gave the reservation number, but the restaurant manager was just about to refund us. Sir, today the restaurant is booked by Mrs. Su. She and her young son are celebrating Mr. Gu's birthday. We will return double your previous reservation deposit. No need for a refund. The one standing in front of you right now is him. But as we walked toward the center of the hall, not far away, we could hear the laughter of a family of three. Su Qinghyun and Jun Chen were giving birthday wishes to Jayan Jingran. May you have peace and success. May Uncle Jingran's wishes come true, and may he marry Mom and be my dad. When I saw the three of them sitting happily after the wishes, saw that Su Qinghyun's gaze never drifted from Jayan Jingran, and saw my son Jun Chen attentively pulling the chair closer to Jayan Jingran, pouring him tea, and adjusting his clothes. After 5 years of marriage, Su Qinghyun didn't even know when my birthday was, let alone had she wished me a happy birthday, and my son had never even poured me a glass of water. My friend couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to rush over to demand an explanation for me, but I stopped him. There's no need. I have already signed the divorce agreement with Su Qinghyun. My friend took me straight to his house. I didn't cry, but he did, hugging me through his tears. Su Qinghyun is a thief, Su. Qinghyun is a thief and Junchen is an ungrateful brat. Calm down. Su and Junchen are ungrateful. For 5 years, 24 hours a day, you've been revolving around them with no job and no social life. When I finally managed to take you out to have fun, one call from Su Qinghyun was enough. And you, happy as a child, went home to make her hangover soup. Your child was crying from being weaned. You spent entire nights comforting him over and over, so much effort only to be betrayed. I know you must be hurting right now. If you want to cry, just cry. Listening to my friend's advice, I raised my head and drank some beer while leaning back on the sofa. I can't cry now, but I cried plenty of times in the past. Forced by Su's mother to learn etiquette, ignored when I shared my troubles with Su Qinghyun, waiting for her until midnight on a snowy night. She didn't return. I too waited naively. When Junchen had a fever in the middle of the night, I called Su Qinghyun, but she hung up. At that time, I also waited naively. Love between spouses, affection between parent and child, but they never saw me. 5 years. I should have woken up by now. In the end, I fell fast asleep. Very early the next morning, I suddenly received a call from Su Qinghyun. She sounded like she just woke up, her voice hoarse. I finally remember where the necklace is, in the first drawer of the closet. Okay. And where are the earrings? In the drawer below the necklace. After this Q&A, I came to my senses. She and I are about to get divorced. I won't ever have to do these things again. Thinking about this, I gave her some friendly advice. Ask the maid to reorganize your closet. From now on, if you're looking for something, ask them. We are about to get divorced. It's no longer appropriate for you to call me to ask where things are. After I said this, I heard a faint murmur from Su Qinghyun. From her end, I also heard the sound of a drawer opening. I thought I had made myself perfectly clear. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard her command again. For the next few days at noon, make seafood soup and bring it to the president's office. She said that and hung up. It seemed she hadn't heard a single word about the divorce. I took a deep breath. Anger made me tremble to my fingertips, so I blocked Su Qinghyun. After some thought, I also blocked the kindergarten teacher of Junchen, but I forgot to block Su's mother. So when, after getting enough sleep, I got up and went out to grab Chinese food, she stopped me and pulled me into the car. She threw a huge pile of photos in my face. They were all intimate photos of Su Qinghyun and Xiang Jingren. You have disappointed me so much. Since you were 16, I have personally groomed you. It's been 10 years and you couldn't even keep the heart of your wife. If I had known you were this useless, I would never have looked down on Xiang Jingren for being an illegitimate son. The sharp edge of the photos cut my neck, leaving a wound. When I was chosen as the future son-in-law of the Su family, many friends envied my good luck, but the price was that I lost my freedom ever since I was 16. Otherwise, just to become Mr. Gu, I felt so suffocated that I couldn't even breathe. In my 3rd year of high school, I rebelled on purpose. I got into an early relationship and told Su Qinghyun, thinking she would break off the engagement, but she didn't say a word. Although I've only been married to her for 5 years, I've been manipulated for 10. I'm already fed up. Su Qinghyun and I have already signed the divorce agreement. I don't have custody and I'm leaving with nothing. If you're not satisfied, you can look for a more suitable son-in-law. With that, I opened the door and got out of the car. Su's mother froze for a second, then furious she grabbed my wrist. Mr. Gu, how dare you? The sharp red nails of Su's mother dug into my skin like needles, but I just smiled. There's nothing I don't dare to do. Being a son-in-law of the Su family was never an honor to me. I rolled up my sleeve, revealing the scars on my wrist to an outsider for the first time. At the sight of the scars, twisted like centipedes, she let go of my hand in shock. I don't want to be Mr. Gu at all. Do you know what I've been screaming in my dreams for the past 10 years? I'd scream, someone save me. But now I understand that only I can save myself. Only by being free and being myself can I truly live. I said this calmly before opening the door and getting out of the car. This time, Su's mother didn't stop me, but the heavy weight in my heart didn't go away. I needed to vent, so I drove out the dusty red supercar. I stepped on the gas and went out, but Su Qinghyun was with clients. I crossed the intersection and crashed head-on into a Maybach with a license plate of 5/8, Su Qinghyun's car. Someone quickly got out of the other vehicle, Su Qinghyun's assistant. Seeing me, he froze. Mr. Gu. I wasn't surprised by his attitude. We've been married for 5 years and Su Qinghyun's people had long ignored me. For someone like me to be speeding must have seemed strange. I didn't explain anything. I just handed him a business card and told him to contact me for compensation. Then I put on my sunglasses, stepped on the gas, and drove away. The assistant went back to the Maybach and said to Su Kinghyun, director, the person driving the other car was Mr. Gu. Su Kinghyun rubbed her temples and simply said coldly, let's go. As if the driver of the other car, whether her husband or a stranger, made no difference to her, the assistant didn't ask further, but he didn't expect that. Hours later, the couple met again. It was Su Kinghyun signing a land development agreement with a business partner. They arrived at the racetrack on the outskirts. A racing event was being held there, and a red sports car was absolutely eye-catching and dazzling. The driver got out of the car dressed in a tight, dark red racing suit. With a slender figure, they were so striking that it was hard to look away. Even Su Kinghyun showed obvious admiration and appreciation until the driver took off his helmet. The assistant couldn't stop exclaiming, Mr. Gu is racing cars, he turns out to be so incredible. Su Kinghyun didn't respond. Only when she saw the women around casting passionate glances at that tall figure, she clenched her jaw slightly. And when I noticed Su Kinghyun's gaze, I didn't raise my head to greet her. In all these years, except at high society parties. At those high-level events when we met, she usually pretended not to know me. So when the outside race organizers introduced Su Kinghyun and me, I also pretended not to know her. Director Su, I've heard of your fame for a long time. Su Kinghyun remained expressionless. The atmosphere became awkward until Jiang Jingren's words arrived. Hello everyone, Kinghyun, are you finished? When you are, let's go back to the company for lunch. I turned my head and saw Jiang Jingren getting out of the Maybach, walking as if no one else existed, hugging Su Kinghyun. Jiang Jingren probably didn't think I was worthy of being his rival. He even smiled at me. As they walked away, someone commented, Director Su goes out to work and brings Mr. Jiang. What a great relationship they have. Su Kinghyun's assistant hadn't left yet. Hearing that, he made a strange face looking at me. I guess in his mind he was thinking, how can there be such a useless man? I said nothing and also left the racetrack, and I immediately called my lawyer to ask when I could get the divorce certificate. You need to wait 7 days. There are still 7 days left. It doesn't matter, I've already endured for 10 years. I can still wait 7 days. But I didn't expect that just when I had calmed down, I would receive a call from Su Kinghyun's assistant. Mr. Gu, the teacher of little Nyanshin, said her phone won't connect. The young master's craft homework hasn't been submitted yet. Surely you can bring it over, right? I remembered that Jiang Nyanshin asked me to divorce his mother while I was watching a mobile video, sewing stitch by stitch to make his craft homework. Before I left the house, that homework was only half finished. Looking at the free clouds in the sky, I said calmly, tell Su Kinghyun that those things are gone and from now on I won't bring them anymore. And I left Nyanshin behind. I won't look after him anymore, don't come looking for me. Saying this, I also blocked the assistant's number. On the other hand, at the Su group, the assistant held his phone with an awkward smile. Director, Mr. Gu hung up on me, and when I called back there was no signal. It seems he has blocked me. Maybe you could try. Su Kinghyun for once took out her phone, searched for the contact labeled husband, and sent him a message. What are you doing? At the next instant, a red deletion notice appeared in the chat box. He has enabled friend verification. You are not his friend yet. Please send a friend verification request first. Only after verification can you chat. The assistant saw the chat page on Su Kinghyun's phone. The most recent message was from a week ago. I didn't expect that the master's birthday and mine were on the same day, so yesterday was also the master's birthday. Director, didn't you send him a birthday gift? I didn't notice. The assistant wasn't surprised by that answer, since in the chat history there were a ton of messages without Su Kinghyun replying even once. But then he heard Su Kinghyun order, buy him a makeup birthday gift. You handle choosing something. Okay, director. Before he could take out his phone to choose a gift, he saw that Su Kinghyun was already reviewing documents. He sighed and quietly left the office to pick a gift quickly. At dusk, I received the birthday gift sent by Su Kinghyun's assistant. Sir, this is the birthday gift Mrs. Su bought for you. Although he was quite insistent, I rejected it. I don't know what Su Kinghyun was trying to convey. My birthday has already passed. What's the point of a gift? Besides, in these 10 years, I only had one birthday wish, freedom, for Su Kinghyun to divorce me. Somehow she accidentally granted it to me. I thought that during these 7 days waiting for the divorce certificate, we wouldn't have contact again. But after the assistant who brought the gift left, I received another message from Su Kinghyun's mother. I won't interfere in your divorce with Kinghyun, but before you get divorced, my grandson must not be affected at all. How could Jiang Nyanshin be affected? He was the one who actively asked his mother and me to divorce. Before I could respond, messages from Su's mother popped up one after another. If you don't want the divorce to be delayed, this weekend you must come to the mansion as usual to accompany my grandson. Su Kinghyun doesn't like crowds. After we got married, I moved with her out of the family mansion to the bridal villa. After she gave birth to Jeong Nyeonshin, every weekend we would take the child to the mansion. Today is Friday as usual. I was about to picking up Gu Yanshin from kindergarten to take him to the mansion. Su Kinghyun was very busy. She usually didn't return home before 10. This time I went directly to the mansion. I didn't expect that when I arrived, Su Kinghyun had already returned home. I ignored her completely and went up to the second floor, but Su Kinghyun blocked me and suddenly asked, "Did you like the birthday gift?" I looked at her in confusion. Did she not know that I had rejected the gift? But it's not surprising. She treats me like invisible air. How could she remember whether I received the gift or not? I didn't want to talk to her, so I just nodded slightly, but I didn't expect to hear her next command. Yanshin is carving a peace amulet for Xiang Jingren. Go upstairs and help him finish it. What? Accepting that birthday gift came with this condition. Then I deliberately pushed past Su Kinghyun and walked upstairs without saying a single word. Su Kinghyun frowned but said nothing. Arriving on the second floor, Gu Yanshin was sitting in front of the desk, holding a carving knife with absolute concentration. I walked over, and only then did I see that in front of him lay a peace amulet that had already been carved. He was replicating it step by step. Probably the sound of my footsteps disturbed Gu Yanshin. He raised his head to look at me, but in the next instant, he quickly grabbed the already carved peace amulet from the table. Dad, this peace amulet was carved by Mom for Uncle Xiang Jingren. You can't steal it. My chest ached. The child who was once more precious to me than my own life was now looking at me like a thief. Staring at Gu Yanshin, whose frown was exactly like Su Kinghyun's, I couldn't help but suddenly change my expression. You don't have to guard against me like that. I have never wanted other people's things. Besides, your mother and I are getting divorced soon. Soon, your uncle Xiang Jingren will be your new dad. Gu Yanzi, talking such nonsense in front of the child. Are you even a qualified father? That was probably the longest sentence Su Kinghyun had ever said to me. I turned around and forced a slight smile at Su Kinghyun's indifferent face. Yes, I'm not qualified, so find him a qualified father. With that, I walked toward the door. Gu Yanzi, Su Kinghyun walked over and grabbed my hand. Her deep voice carried a warning, but at that moment, Gu Yanshin's smartwatch rang and he said hurriedly, "Mom, it's a video call from Uncle Xiang Jingren." In the next instant, Su Kinghyun let go of me. I watched her go out to answer the call. Her previously icy face had melted into a smile. Suddenly, I felt everything was incredibly meaningless. Without saying a word, I went to the guest room, closed the door, and locked it. The room was very cold. Even though it was June, I felt as if I were lying in a coffin buried under dark soil. But at that moment, there was a familiar peace. Ever since I handed the divorce agreement to Su Kinghyun, I had decided to prepare for the separation as if preparing for death. My sleep that night was very chaotic, but the next day, my biological clock woke me up at 5 in the morning as usual. Previously at this hour, I would have to get up to prepare breakfast for Su Kinghyun and our son. I rubbed my temples, thinking of the threat from Su Kinghyun's mother, yet I still got up and went downstairs. But downstairs, I found out that Su Kinghyun and Gu Yanshin had already left early, saying they had met up with Xiang Jingren to watch the sunrise. I found it quite ridiculous. Anyone with eyes could see that Gu Yanshin didn't need this father at all. Yet Su Kinghyun's mother insisted that I return to the mansion to finish out this weekend. My brother soon invited me to go to the school to look at pretty girls, saying it would help me dispel my gloom. The 18-year-old girls knew how to comfort people very well. They sweetly called me brother. They provided great emotional value, always giggling. My mood improved a lot. My buddies didn't want to leave. How about it? After experiencing how good a younger sister is, don't you think that old Su Kinghyun is no longer worth loving? I don't love her anymore. Seeing me becoming more and more cheerful, my buddies said, "That's right. If you ask me, you should have gotten a divorce long ago. Who doesn't know how to take better care of you than that cold and heartless Su Kinghyun? You should just choose a sweet and obedient younger sister to fall in love with and marry. That would be wonderful." I was smiling and nodding. At that moment, a cough sounded from behind. I looked up and saw Su Kinghyun with her assistant not far away. I pretended not to see her and pulled my brother to leave. I thought Su Kinghyun wouldn't care about this distance either, but I didn't expect the woman to walk over and grab my arm. "There is a meeting I need you to attend. Come with me." Saying this without allowing me to refuse, she pulled me directly into the car. Once in the car, I was a bit dazed. In my memory, Su Kinghyun always treated me like invisible air, with no emotions toward me, not even opinions. Her dominant attitude just now was something I had only ever seen in the bedroom at night. Just as I came to my senses, I suddenly heard her speak. Yanzi, in a family like ours, the most important thing is compatibility. I was stunned. Then I realized she was refuting what my brother and I had said. I laughed in anger. So, love isn't important. What matters is whether someone knows how to take care of you or not. Compatibility with you means that I have to endure humiliation. Why? Su Qinghyun stared at me for several seconds but said nothing. I didn't want to waste effort guessing her emotions either. Arriving at the social club, I realized that this time it was just a small gathering of Su Qinghyun's friends. Never before had she taken me to these kinds of events. Honestly, I didn't really like her friends as they looked down on me. They always said I was a phony, so I didn't smile the whole time, only drank a little alcohol. Later, slightly tipsy, I got up and went to the restroom. As soon as I left, someone couldn't wait to say, "Your husband isn't even smiling today and he's pulling a long face at you." Yes, rumors outside say you're getting divorced. Who says I'm getting divorced? Since I'm married, my husband in this lifetime can only be Gu Yanjai. The friend was slightly surprised. Are you serious? Su Qinghyun looked at her and said nothing. The friend understood. But find a solution. Director Jiang, whom you collaborated with on the AI development. Do you remember him? You used to ignore your husband, not even letting him go to the company. Nobody knew he was your husband. I heard that even now you haven't won him back. If you plan to spend your whole life with Gu Yanjai, then as your sister, I advise you to care Clear's throat more about him. Otherwise, watch out or your husband will end up like theirs. Su Qinghyun's hand, which was swirling her glass, paused, but she muttered coldly, "He won't do that." Meanwhile, in the restroom, I just received a message from my divorce lawyer. Mr. Gu Yanjai, the divorce certificate between you and Mrs. Su Qinghyun has been processed as requested. You can pick it up at the lawyer's office at any time. This day had finally come. Impatiently, I took a taxi to the office. I opened the divorce certificate and read it over and over. From now on, I can finally get away from the hellish Su family. Upon leaving the office, my brother said that to celebrate my freedom, we should go eat first. A dinner I could never have had before. Then he took me to a street stall in the night market, milk tea, barbecue, ice cream. Eat whatever you want with the enveloping aroma of food and meat. I finally felt the taste of being alive. That night we slipped away to drink beer and laughed out loud. I finally laughed my head off with you. That oppression I had carried for 10 years finally faded away. Perhaps because I had repressed too much, I removed my son Gu Nyanshin from the blacklist and called him. As soon as the call connected with red eyes, I said, "Gu Nyanshin, let me tell you, even if you don't love me, I am still your biological father. Who took care of you day and night. When you were sick with a fever, it was me. The one who helped you with your homework every day was also me. Since you, for a stranger like Jiang Jingren, called me wicked, I am no longer your father. Don't call me dad either, you don't deserve to." Su Qinghyun's cold voice came from the receiver. "Gu Yanjai, what are you saying?" I was stunned and then realized that the child was probably with her. I immediately sneered sarcastically. "President Su, if you have time to lecture me, you'd better take good care of your son. You know, your son asked me to divorce you to make room for Jiang Jingren. The ridiculous thing is that I will fulfill what all of you wish." Having said that, I blocked Gu Nyanshin again. The next morning, I booked a flight abroad. I knew very well that I had been a bit excessive yesterday. Besides, with the divorce, once word got out, the Su family wouldn't leave me alone. They might even force me to kneel down to beg Su Qinghyun for reconciliation, or perhaps they would threaten me to marry another heiress. I wanted to flee from Jiang City and never return. I said goodbye to my friends, packed a light suitcase and went out. I didn't expect that upon arriving at the gate, I would see Su Qinghyun not far away, getting out of the car with Gu Nyanshin and walking towards me. "Gu Nyanshin, apologize to your father." Gu Nyanshin, his face pale and tense, pulled up his jacket and bowed to me. "Dad, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have insulted you or said that you wanted to divorce Mom. I know I was wrong, can you forgive me? You don't need to apologize. I've already vented everything I had to vent and I don't care about anything anymore." But I didn't expect that after my words, Su Qinghyun would say, "I'm sorry, I failed to guide Nyanshin well. I am also to blame." I never imagined I would hear Su Qinghyun voluntarily apologizing that day. But can the damage caused really be forgiven with a simple sorry? When I remembered that I had something in my bag that I planned to send to Su Qinghyun from the airport, I said directly, "Su Qinghyun, if you really feel sorry, drive me to the airport." Lately, the Su family doesn't have any unusual social commitments. "Where are you planning to fly? Can't I have my own affairs?" It's not that. For the first time, Su Qinghyun showed a bewildered expression, but I didn't care. She was the one who put me in the cage of the Sue family, so now she had to drive me there to cut ties once and for all. The last connection between us. We arrived at the airport in silence. Before getting out of the car, I handed Sue Kinghyun an elegant box. The last gift. Sue Kinghyun was puzzled for a moment, wondering what last meant. Still, she raised her hand to receive it. Thank you. Gu Nyanshin couldn't help but look up. Dad, what about mine? Yours is also inside. After all, it is a good gift for them. Mother and son should be happy. This gift, remember to open it only after 1 hour. By then, the plane should have already taken off. Sue Kinghyun, for once, showed me a gentle face. Come back soon. I smiled without replying. I turned around and left. I won't come back. I am going to find my freedom. Sue Kinghyun stared at that lonely silhouette heading into the airport, not knowing why she felt a tightness in her chest. She wanted to open the box right away, but Gu Nyanshin stopped her. Mom, we promised Dad that we would open it after an hour. We must keep our word. For the next hour, Sue Kinghyun held the documents without even looking at them. She didn't know how many times she had looked at the gift, until finally the time came. Nyanshin rushed to open the box. Mom, what did Dad give us? It's a complete mystery. When the lid was lifted, Sue Kinghyun turned her head, only to see a divorce certificate lying inside. Although Nyanshin was only 3 years old, he had already started his early education. He looked at the divorce certificate inside the box and muttered for a long time, Mom, what is a divorce certificate? Dad said he would give us a gift. Is this little booklet the gift? Sue Kinghyun's mind went completely blank. She suddenly dropped the documents. She took the box from Nyanshin's hands, not even realizing that her own hands were shaking uncontrollably. The small red booklet with gold lettering lay quietly inside, just like that figure who had always been at home but had been deliberately ignored. She didn't know why, but a sudden wave of panic rushed through her heart. She felt that once she opened that divorce certificate, things would never be the same again. She took several deep breaths before opening the little red booklet. The moment she saw her name and Mr. Gu's, her pupils suddenly dilated. She slammed the divorce certificate shut. Just as she was about to call Mr. Gu, she remembered that at this moment I might already be on the plane. She felt a wave of irritation. She suppressed the burning rage within that made her want to confront me in person. She called her assistant, investigate Mr. Gu's whereabouts, find out where his flight is going today. Yes, ma'am, and bring him to me immediately. Also find out who processed the divorce certificate between him and me. There was no divorce agreement or lawsuit. How could we get divorced? She was carrying an anxiety and anger she didn't even notice. The assistant on the other end of the line trembled. Since joining the company, he had always been by Sue Kinghyun's side, where he had never seen her express such intense emotions. Divorce? Was it because of this sudden outburst? As for Mr. Gu, who barely had any presence. The assistant shook his head, finding it unbelievable, but he didn't show it. He just nodded and went to work. Sue Kinghyun put her hands on her hips. She paced back and forth in the massive study, but the unease in her heart only intensified. Finally, she pulled out her phone. She sent a verification message to me who had already blocked her. What on earth is going on with the divorce certificate? You're an adult. Why are you playing such a sick joke? Answer me immediately. Nyanshin and I are very worried about you. After a long pause, her fingers tapped the screen and she wrote again. Is there a problem? Can we sit down and talk? There's no need to do this. You're already a father. You're not a child. All the messages vanished into the void. Sue Kinghyun slumped into her executive chair, rubbing her temples wearily. Nearby, Nyanshin, who had been quietly playing with blocks, looked up. He asked innocently, Mom, does Dad's gift mean he wants to divorce you? Hearing this, she felt a tight knot in her chest that she couldn't swallow. Her friend's words from back then echoed in her ears. After a long while, she muttered, Gu Yanjai, have you also given up on me? The waiting time always feels incredibly long. Sue Kinghyun didn't know how many times she had checked her phone or how many messages she had sent, but there was no response. An inexplicable resentment rose in her heart. They got along so well. They had been happily together for 5 years. How could he suddenly divorce her and leave without a word? Just then the phone rang. Without hesitation, she answered without even looking at who was calling. Gu Yanjai, do you finally remember to call me? I sent you so many messages. Why didn't you reply? The person on the other end fell silent for a few seconds before speaking. President Sue, it's me. Sue Kinghyun looked at the phone screen and felt the energy she had just gathered drain from her body once again. Rubbing her temples, she said in a heavy voice, Sorry, I was too impatient. Any news on Mr. Gu? The assistant hesitated for a moment, swallowed, and said, Well, President Sue, we've found out that he bought a flight abroad today, but we haven't been able to trace his connecting flight information after landing. Sue Kinghyun's face darkened as well. After a long pause, she asked hoarsely, "And what about the divorce certificate? Have you cleared it up?" The assistant nodded. "The divorce agreement was signed by you yourself. The verification department and legal team have already cross-checked the handwriting and content. There is no issue with it." The long-suppressed anger finally overcame her reason. Su Kinghyun said hoarsely, "What do you mean there's no issue? Mr. Gu didn't divide any of the assets in the divorce agreement. He practically walked away with nothing. The marital assets in both your names, his personal assets and shares. He assigned all of it to young Nyanshin, stating it was the child support he owed to Nyanshin. He didn't want your assets, nor did he want custody of young Nyanshin." The assistant was sweating profusely. He wiped his forehead with his hand. After all, he had seen the world with Su Kinghyun and knew many secrets of the wealthy families. "I've never seen such a clean divorce. When others divorce, they want to skin their exes alive." But Mr. G left without saying a single word. "I don't know if he really doesn't care or if he's just too weak." While the assistant was lost in thought, Su Kinghyun hung up the phone, gripped her mobile, and couldn't react for a long time. She couldn't understand how a marriage that was going so well had suddenly fallen apart. After a long silence, she let out a sigh. She didn't know if she was asking herself or the empty air. "Ji Yanzi, what is it that you really dislike?" Just as she was thinking about this, the study door cracked open. Jiunian Chen poked his head in and toddled inside. Hugging Su Kinghyun's legs, he said with eyes full of hope, "Mom, I asked Uncle Jian. Since Dad gave us the divorce certificate, does it mean I can have a new dad? Mom, marry Uncle Jian quickly. I want Uncle Jian to be my new dad." Before, when hearing these words, Su Kinghyun only took them as a child's innocent jokes, but now they felt exceptionally hurtful. Did Ji Yanzi really divorce her because of their son's words? Thinking of this, she frowned and scolded him. "You're only 3 years old, what do you know? Don't ever say those words again. You only have one father, there is no new father." Nyanshin froze from the scolding. His little mouth puckered and he burst into tears. "I want a new dad. I want Uncle Jian to be my new dad. I don't want my old dad. He acts like a nanny all day. He's not impressive at all." Su Kinghyun flamed with anger. "Who told you to say those things?" She should have realized it earlier. Nyanshin was only a 3-year-old child. If no one had planted these ideas in his head, how would he know about the divorce? How could he say things like dad is a nanny? Nyanshin, as if he couldn't take it anymore, ran outside. "Mom, I hate you. If you don't change to a new dad for me, I'm not coming back." Su Kinghyun's heart raced. She wanted to stop him, but the phone rang again. It was Jian Jingren calling. After hesitating for 2 seconds between stopping Nyanshin and answering the call, she chose the latter. As soon as she picked up, Jian Jingren's voice came through. "Kinghyun, I heard Nyanshin say you divorced Yanzi. What is this about? Could it be that the child doesn't understand and is just talking nonsense?" Su Kinghyun let out a sigh. "There is a misunderstanding. I will not divorce Ji Yanzi. Anything else?" Jian Jingren fell silent for a moment, his tone filled with disappointment. "Today we were going to take Nyanshin to the amusement park to see the fireworks. Seeing that you and your son hadn't shown up, I wanted to ask." "I'm sorry, I forgot. Next time there is a chance, we will go." When Su Kinghyun hung up, Jiunian Chen was already gone. She didn't pay much attention to it. With so many servants in the villa, surely they could watch a 3-year-old child. But Nyanshin disappeared right under everyone's watch. No one saw how he left the villa, and even the cameras outside the villa only captured his lonely figure walking away. Su Kinghyun took almost everyone to search the entire city, but there was no sign of Nyanshin. She dialed my number over and over again, but from the receiver there was only one automated message. "The number you have dialed is powered off. Please try again later." Having no other choice, she had her assistant look up my brother's phone number. "Hey, it's Su Kinghyun. Has Ji Yanzi contacted you? If you have any news of him, I hope you'll let me know immediately because he wants to divorce me. Nyanshin has gone missing. If he still has any conscience as a father, I hope he comes back right now." But before she could finish speaking, my brother impatiently interrupted her, shouting, "Stop, stop, stop. If the child is lost, call the police. What's the use of looking for Ji Yanzi? Does he have a telepathic connection with the kid so that when he returns, he can locate the target and teleport to the side of that ungrateful little brat? And you even say the child disappeared because of the divorce. Didn't you guys force him to divorce? Divorcing is the right thing to do. You and that ungrateful little brat are worthless." The phone slammed shut but immediately rang again. It was Jian Jingren. Su Kinghyun answered, but she only managed to hear, "Help, someone wants to kidnap Nyanshin. Let go of Nyanshin, don't be afraid." "Watch out," the call was suddenly cut off. Su Kinghyun immediately ordered a trace on Jian Jingren's phone signal, and when they finally located it, Jian Jingren and Nyanshin were already unconscious. Beneath a dirt embankment on the outskirts of the national highway, Jian Jingren had multiple scratches all over his body, looking completely disheveled. But Nyanchen was tightly protected in his arms, with only some dust on his face without any other injuries. All those present seeing this scene were deeply moved without exception. Su Qinghyun clenched her fists at her sides. First, she got both of them into the ambulance. As she watched the red and blue lights fade into the distance, she finally told her assistant, "Investigate what Jian Jingren has been doing lately and who he has been in contact with. Do not let even the slightest clue slip by." The assistant was confused at first but quickly understood. He had accompanied President Su to search the entire city without finding a trace of young Master Nyanchen. How could Mr. Jian Jingren find him? With so many servants in the villa, how could young Master Nyanchen, a 3-year-old child, leave without anyone noticing? If it were truly a kidnapping, why didn't the kidnappers contact them and instead left them on the national highway? After so many years in the business world, with such an obvious loophole, how could Su Qinghyun not have suspicions? Soon, Su Qinghyun obtained evidence of the kidnapping plan orchestrated by Xiang Jingren. Looking over the documents in his hands, he fell silent for a long time and withdrew the police report. "Don't make any noise about this matter, destroy the evidence. I don't want a third person to know about this. To the public you will say it was Xiang Jingren who saved Nyanchen." The assistant was incredulous. Mr. Su was covering up for the mastermind of the kidnapping of his own son. But before he could finish speaking, Su Qinghyun's figure had already disappeared at the end of the hospital hallway. Su Qinghyun pushed open the door of the room and saw Xiang Jingren lying on the hospital bed looking pale. He frowned unconsciously. There was a hint of scrutiny in his eyes. Xiang Jingren coughed weakly twice. "How is Nyanchen? Is he okay? He is so small, this incident must have caused him considerable trauma. It's all his fault for leaving without saying goodbye. He left just like that, not caring about the child. Is there any parent as irresponsible in the world? I have to go see Nyanchen," she said as she tried to get out of bed. But as she passed by Su Qinghyun, he stopped her by grabbing her. Su Qinghyun's voice was cold and restrained. Whether or not he is a suitable father does not need anyone else's evaluation. Xiang Jingren raised her head to look at the icy face of Su Qinghyun and was stunned. That face, which used to be gentle with her, now didn't have a single smile. It was so cold it was frightening. She froze. "Qinghyun, with the feelings we've shared all these years, how could I be a stranger to you?" Then she softened her tone. "I was too impatient. You are right, but this kidnapping was truly atrocious. Even I, an adult, am shocked. Nyanchen has grown up under my care. I can't help but worry about him." Su Qinghyun's hands at his sides clenched slightly, and his gaze toward Xiang Jingren was filled with coldness and gravity. "If you think it is atrocious and terrifying, why did you hire someone to kidnap Nyanchen? Why did you stage this play?" The pale face of Xiang Jingren instantly tensed. She blinked innocently. "Qinghyun, what are you talking about?" Su Qinghyun didn't explain. He only showed a flash of genuine disappointment in his eyes as he looked at her. "I have already destroyed the evidence for you. Do not appear in front of Nyanchen again. I will send you abroad and arrange for your future life. Do not return." Saying this, he turned to leave, but Xiang Jingren rushed forward and hugged him. "Qinghyun, don't drive me away. If I have done something wrong, I can change. We have been together all these years." Su Qinghyun remained unmoved, grabbing her wrist directly to pull her off. Xiang Jingren felt despondent. "Qinghyun, why is this? I admit I was a bit impatient this time. I just want to marry the person I love now. What did I do wrong? I don't care that Nyanchen is someone else's child. I will be good to him in the future." But Su Qinghyun pushed her away, his cold eyes filled with bewilderment. "Isn't the person you love supposed to be my deceased sister? The person I have always loved is you. All these years, you have been by my side taking care of me, worrying about me. You remember my birthday better than I do, and you are always there whenever I call. You treat me better than your own husband. Do you not love me?" Suddenly, some unknown string in his brain snapped. Su Qinghyun let go of Xiang Jingren's hand and took a step back. "I have taken care of you only to fulfill my sister's last wish. I have no romantic feelings for you, much less will I marry you. The private jet to go abroad will be ready today. Leave as soon as possible." Saying this, Su Qinghyun walked out of the room without looking back. Meanwhile, in Finland, I knew nothing of all this. I obtained my residence permit in Finland and enrolled in a local university with the intention of fulfilling my unfulfilled dreams, striving to become a diplomatic interpreter. Before classes started, I bought a small house with the savings I had accumulated over the years. I heard that you can see the northern lights here in winter. I look forward to this solitary life, which allows me to better manage my time. I taught myself Finnish and also took classes in German, Japanese, and Spanish. In my second year of university, I applied for the special training program for international students. Amidst the hustle and bustle of studying and working, I rarely think about the past. My marriage to Soo King-hyun seems to have become a distant memory. Here, I am just a completely independent person. In my fifth year in Finland, I managed to join the Chinese embassy in Finland as a diplomatic interpreter. But I didn't know that after 6 years, Soo King-hyun had never stopped searching for my whereabouts. Office of the President of the Soo Group. The assistant, his face full of joy. Mr. Soo, we have news of Mr. Gu. He is at the embassy in Finland. Soo King-hyun stood up abruptly with a rare look of joy on his face. The assistant widened his eyes in surprise. He hadn't seen Mr. Soo smile in 6 years. Since Mr. Gu divorced him, not even when closing multi-billion-dollar deals had he shown such a smile. Soo King-hyun got up to leave, but just as he reached the door, he turned around. I need his current detailed information. Do it immediately. Joy bubbled in his chest, and he couldn't help but curved her lips. She looked at the photo of the three of them having fun on her desk, and her fingers gently caressed my gentle brow. I will definitely clear up the misunderstandings between us and make you return to my side. I had never actively sought information about the current lives of Soo King-hyun and Juncheon. In my opinion, they must have already gotten what they wanted, having a satisfying husband and father. Every day, I am busy attending international meetings and translating documents. My life is busy but fulfilling. Until one day, the boss came with a renewable energy project in Chinese and stood in front of me. And out of our entire department, you have the strongest working capability. The Ministry of Commerce and the Promotion Agency attach great importance to this project. They hope you can complete the translation work as soon as possible. I looked at the tall stack of project documents with a sincere and open smile. Don't worry, boss. I promised to complete the task. But when I opened this project folder, I discovered it was the business plan of the Soo Group. Soo King-hyun's familiar figure appeared in my mind again. I shook my head, took a deep breath, and comforted myself. The Soo Group's projects are all over the world. It's normal for them to want to start a new project in Finland. It is probably just a coincidence. After staying up for several consecutive nights, I brought the translated project plan. I knocked on the boss's office door. He flipped through a few pages and nodded repeatedly. You truly deserve to be the talent that the former boss praised during the inspection. Your working capability is exceptional. I had worked with my boss for 2 years and knew his character. As soon as he started praising someone, nothing good would follow. But then, who doesn't like nice words? Most of my colleagues in private were praised by him until they boarded his pirate ship. Boss, don't beat around the bush. If you have a task, just assign it directly. If you keep praising me, it'll go to my head. The Soo Group from China is coming to Finland for a field inspection. The Finnish side also attaches great importance to this diplomatic translation work. I've already signed you up. We can't just have work every day, we must also balance life. I recall you're still single, right? I heard the representative of the Soo Group is young and promising. Take this opportunity to get closer. My heart skipped a beat. The Soo Group. It couldn't be Soo King-hyun, right? It shouldn't be such a coincidence. When the representative of the Soo Group arrived in Finland, the boss took me with him to the airport to welcome them. Yangtze, the Finnish side has prepared a dinner for the Soo Group representative. It won't be too formal of an occasion, so just relax while translating. Don't be too nervous. In a moment, I will introduce you to the Soo Group representative. As soon as he finished speaking, I saw the boss waving behind me. Director Soo, over here. The boss grabbed my hand, and when we arrived in front of Soo King-hyun, I was still stunned, unable to react. It has been 6 years. Time didn't seem to have left a mark on her. She was still as quiet as before. Until the boss nudged me forward and with a wide smile introduced, Director Soo, let me introduce you to this colleague, Ji Yangtze, from the Translation Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Chinese Embassy in Finland. For your itinerary this time, he will be the accompanying interpreter. Although our Yangtze is young and handsome, he has mastered 5 languages. In front of me, Soo King-hyun stared at me, her eyes filled with scrutiny and an indescribable emotion. I smiled and extended my hand with a polite but distant attitude. Director Soo, it's a pleasure to meet you. She looked at me with astonishment. With an inexplicable emotion in her eyes, it took her a long time to shake my hand. Meeting Soo King-hyun was already unexpected. I just wanted to finish quickly, withdraw my hand and avoid her, but she held onto it tightly, squeezing twice. I frowned and my tone turned serious. Director Soo, what is the meaning of this? The leader on the side looked at her and then at me, as if he also noticed the tension in the air. He quickly intervened to smooth things over. Ji Yangxi's charisma and uniqueness always move everyone. It seems Director Su is no exception. With a somber gaze, Su Qinghan released my hand and managed a forced smile. Indeed. She said nothing more and to my relief let go of my hand. Dinner soon began. I didn't think much of it. Even if there was a brief encounter, what did it matter? After all, she couldn't have come all this way specifically for me. Thinking this, I calmed down and sat down next to Su Qinghan. I translated each sentence calmly. She sat with her legs crossed, maintaining an elegant and distinguished posture. As she spoke, she leaned in slightly. I couldn't help but pause. During the 5 years of marriage where Su Qinghan and I wore each other down, it felt like she had never listened to me so attentively. I felt a sharp pain in my heart, not for her but for myself, for the humiliation of being the son-in-law of the Su family, for those years when my soul was imprisoned without freedom. Fortunately, I had finally escaped that place now. Su Qinghan's voice continued. I want to know about the taxes and labor laws in Finland. Her voice was deep and deliberate. Every time she finished a sentence, she would look at me in silence. Her gaze was deep and focused. Instinctively, I avoided her eyes and just stuck to doing my job of professionally. The negotiation at that dinner went smoothly for both parties. As we said goodbye, I hurriedly returned to Beijing amidst the Finnish blizzard. I said goodbye to Su Qinghan with a handshake wearing sheepskin gloves. General Manager Gu, it's been a pleasure collaborating. With that, I turned around and left. Just as I was opening the car door, the woman behind me suddenly called out my name. I stopped but didn't turn around, quietly waiting for her to continue. With the wind freezing my fingers, her voice finally came again. Don't you have anything to say to me? I don't know if it was just my imagination, but there seemed to be a hint of unexplainable resentment in her voice. My heart skipped a beat and I felt an absolute silence. President Su, the content I was supposed to translate at the dinner is already done. As for the rest, I have nothing to say. But Su Qinghan didn't seem resigned to letting me go just like that. In her tone, usually calm and measured, a hint of anxiety appeared. Zhou Yangxi, at the beginning you didn't want a divorce at all costs. Even if you don't think about me, do you not care about Nyanqin's feelings? Nyanqin is already 9. Do you really not feel even a bit of nostalgia for him? I turned around and smiled calmly. What could a child who has never received a father's sacrifice possibly miss? Besides, he must be very happy now. He has a new dad, right? Snow fell on Su Qinghan's shoulders. The woman looked at me with a hint of bewilderment. Then she sighed in resignation and approached me, stepping on the snow. She rarely showed such a soft expression. Nyanqin hasn't ignored your efforts. It's just that he's too young and doesn't know how to love yet. He won't have any new dad. You are his only father. My gaze fell on the face of Su Qinghan, and I couldn't help but find the situation amusing. Knowing how to love has nothing to do with age. Su Qinghan and Nyanqin can remember Jiang Jingren's birthday and take the trouble to hand-carve a lucky charm for him. How could they not know how to love? That mother and son simply don't know how to love me. I leaned calmly against the car, watching her, and couldn't help but wonder if I were still her husband. Would she be standing in front of me today talking to me so calmly? I shook my head and smiled bitterly. Su Qinghan frowned in confusion. What are you laughing at? Ignoring her gaze, I replied, don't you laugh when you hear something funny? Su Qinghan, whether we are divorced or not, it seems this is not a relationship that can be saved. You know very little about me, and I have no interest in remembering our shared past. Saying that, I ignored her expression of wanting to speak but holding back. I got straight into the car and stepped hard on the gas. When I got home, after washing up, I flopped onto the bed. A deep fatigue washed over me and I soon fell asleep. In the middle of the night, the neighbor's fierce dog began barking furiously. I woke up, took a few deep breaths to clear my head, got dressed, and went to the window to see what was happening. There was Su Qinghan, still in that long black dress, right in front of my door. I don't know how she found my address. The address in Finland. The average temperature is 20 to 30 degrees below zero. With the coat she is wearing, if she really stays outside all night, I estimate that tomorrow morning I will see a human-shaped ice sculpture. Though I don't know what she's trying to do, I still opened the door and invited my ex-wife inside. After all, I didn't want her to freeze to death in front of my house. In front of the lit fireplace, as a courtesy, I offered a cup of coffee to Su Qinghan, who was shivering uncontrollably from the cold. Holding the warm cup with both hands, it took her a long time to exhale a sigh and smile at me. Thank you. My eyes flickered slightly. She rarely smiled at me. Most of the time she was cold and expressionless. Su Qinghan, what is it that you really want? Su Qinghan lowered her gaze, the frost on her eyelashes slowly melting. I don't know if it was because of the cold, but her voice trembled slightly as she spoke. I want to know why we got divorced. I frowned as I looked at her face. She also met my gaze frankly with genuine confusion and bewilderment in her eyes, but my heart was filled with mixed feelings. So everything I experienced in those 5 years was truly completely ignored. I exhaled, suddenly regretting letting her in. I should have turned off the lights and slept, leaving her to freeze outside. The woman hesitated for a long time, then uttered two strange words, husband. How ridiculous. It was the first time she had called me that seriously. My gaze toward Su Qinghan couldn't help but fill with irony. Su Qinghan, have you ever thought that maybe you don't know the reason for the divorce? At that thought, Su Qinghan's body stiffened for a moment, and a rare look of bewilderment appeared in her eyes. She was always like this. With her privileged background and successful career, her quick mind allowed her to handle everything with ease. Similarly, she didn't care about anything around her, as if no matter how things developed, they would never escape her control in the end. Perhaps I was one of the few exceptions. I don't know how, but my eyes grew hot for no reason, though I soon adjusted my posture. Suppressing the bitterness in my chest, I said, Su Qinghan, before the divorce, I told you many times. Since you and Nyanchen love Jiang Jingren so much, then I accept the divorce and also give up custody of Nyanchen. I will leave with nothing. Our marital assets will be transferred to Nyanchen's name. Even though I, this unloved father, left him child support, I told you. I repeated over and over again. Saying this, I looked at Su Qinghuan. Do you remember? Su Qinghuan's hand, which was holding the cup, trembled slightly. She frowned as if trying hard to remember something, but the confusion in her eyes gave her away. She didn't remember anything. Of course, I knew this would be the outcome, because she had never really listened to any words I said as her husband. To her back then, I was just a nominal partner. Su Qinghuan lowered her head with a tone full of guilt and regret. I'm sorry. I really don't remember you saying these things. Perhaps I was busy at the time, but if that's the reason you're divorcing me, I really can't accept it. And the smell of perfume on your clothes every night when you came home. That reason is enough for me to divorce you. Su Qinghuan froze. It seemed she finally caught the contradiction in my words, but then she shook her head as if she found it unbelievable. Xiang Jingren, is it because of him that you're divorcing me? The doubt in Su Qinghuan's voice intensified. As if divorcing because of Xiang Jingren was more absurd than divorcing because she never listened to me. I just drank my coffee and nodded indifferently. Yes, every day you came home, you brought the scent of Xiang Jingren. Nyanchen talked about nothing but wanting Uncle Xiang to be his new dad. Was I supposed to keep shamelessly clinging to the identity of the Su family's son-in-law, which I never cared about? Su Qinghuan's face paled unusually for a moment. So, suspicion. I raised a finger and wagged it in front of her. It's not suspicion. When you took Xiang Jingren to all kinds of events, showing him off without any hesitation, when your friends mocked me and joked that they made a better couple with Xiang Jingren. When you signed the divorce agreement without even looking at it, just so you could go accompany Xiang Jingren sooner. Whether you were unfaithful or not no longer mattered. So divorcing you is just because I don't want to stay trapped in the cage of being the son-in-law of the Su family, being a relative with an empty title. Divorcing you is just because I don't want to stay trapped in the cage of being the son-in-law of the Su family, being a relative with an empty title. I didn't want that either. Su Qinghuan's eyelashes trembled, and she remained silent for a long time. Perhaps she didn't expect me to say these things, or perhaps she didn't care about my true feelings either. She just wanted to find an opportunity to reflect on her own failure. But to me, none of this made sense, because she loves Xiang Jingren, remembers his birthday, and prepares gifts and surprises with care. She knows his tastes inside out. She loves Xiang Jingren, so my failure won't be repeated in her future marriage. I raised my hand and looked at her. By now, you should have understood everything. Please leave now, I need to rest. I hadn't even finished my sentence when I heard a clear and solemn I'm sorry. I was stunned for a moment, unable to finish the words stuck in my throat. Su Qinghuan stared at me. I'm sorry, I didn't know about any of this. Those details I overlooked made you go through so much injustice. I was the one in the wrong. I apologize to you. I couldn't help but find it somewhat amusing for Su Qinghuan, who looks down on everything, to apologize. I guess I'm one of a kind. But then Su Qinghuan spoke suddenly, interrupting my thoughts. But there is something I don't agree with you on. I have not been unfaithful to you. I don't love Xiang Jingren. I look after him and do everything he asks only to fulfill the last wish of my sister. If I didn't correct others when they called him brother-in-law, it was because I thought that if my sister were still alive, he would indeed be their legitimate brother-in-law. It doesn't matter anymore. She seemed hurt by my indifferent attitude, and her eyes showed a flash of pain. No, this is very important. In the 6 years since you left, both Nyanchen and I have missed you very much. I hope I can dissolve the resentment in your heart so you can return to the family. For a moment, I really thought Su Qinghyun was joking. I spent 10 years enduring just to win my freedom, and now she wants me to return to the family. A burst of thunderous laughter escaped my chest. I couldn't help but laugh out loud, but a flash of bewilderment crossed Su Qinghyun's face. It seemed she really didn't understand what I was laughing at. I raised my hand to wipe away the tears pooling in my eyes and took several deep breaths. Only then did I manage to calm down a bit. Su Qinghyun, are you joking? Getting a divorce from you was hard enough. And now that I have my own career, how could I return to family life? Besides, what would I go back for? To serve you like a maid? Running back and forth for you, going to your company every day to bring you that ridiculous seafood soup. If you feel remorse toward your sister and want to fulfill her last wish to take good care of Xiang Jingren, there's no need to involve me. After all, I owe nothing to your sister nor to Xiang Jingren and least of all to you. Su Qinghyun wanted to say something more, but I had already reached the door and flung it open. The cold wind swept the snow inside. Get out. Don't make me repeat myself. Su Qinghyun finally left, but exhausted, I couldn't fall asleep at all, so I stayed awake until morning. I dragged myself together and went to work at the translation department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But as soon as I arrived at the office, good news was waiting for me. My boss stood in front of me and said seriously, although you haven't been here long time working, your work attitude is positive and your ability is solid. This time, China's Su Group is going to develop a new energy project in Finland, which is also very important for relations between the two countries. The leaders of the relevant Finnish department want to take this opportunity to travel to China along with President Su for an inspection. We just happen to lack an accompanying interpreter. I have already informed the superiors, and this time you will represent our ministry on the return to China. It has been 6 years since you left. Take this opportunity to reunite with your family. I listened with a smile on my face, but inside my heart was racing like 1,000 horses. It was all because of Su Qinghyun. Ever since he arrived, trouble keeps popping up. I had no choice but to force a smile and stand up. Don't worry, boss. I assure you I will fulfill the mission. That same afternoon, I boarded the special charter flight back to China along with Su Qinghyun and the inspection team. I don't know who made the arrangements this time, but between Su Qinghyun and me, there was only one armrest separating us. Exhausted, I rubbed my temples and turned my head away to avoid looking at him. It was clear that neither of us had slept all night, but Su Qinghyun's face showed no signs of fatigue. After a short while, a soft, thick blanket was placed over me. Su Qinghyun's movements were careful, as if he was afraid of waking me up. But I wasn't asleep at all, though I didn't even want to look at him. To me, he was once someone I truly loved and admired, but he was also the family member who bound me. The relationship between us was completely broken the moment we signed the divorce agreement. However, I didn't expect that as soon as I got off the plane, I would encounter my son, with whom I share only a blood bond. Nyanshin, held by his maternal grandmother's hand, was in the waiting area. At 9 years old, he had grown quite a bit. His eyes were red, and as soon as he saw me, he cried out loudly, "Dad." The members of the inspection team looked at each other, and someone whispered, asking what was going on. I maintained a polite, unfazed smile and replied, "This child probably can't find his father." To the side, Su Qinghyun had a look of shock. It turned out he fully understood the irony. Nyanshin wanted to come closer, but his grandmother stopped him. This elegant and dignified elderly woman didn't allow him to keep crying but took him away with her. Su's mother wouldn't have come out of kindness. Perhaps she wanted father and son to meet, or maybe she intended to use Nyanshin to force me to do something, who knows. But now, I have no reason to keep submissively obeying. The days spent accompanying the Finnish inspection team on their visit to the Su Group passed smoothly. After all, in terms of work, Su Qinghyun is also excellent, but as soon as the inspection ended, he came looking for me. "Do you want to come home with me to see Nyanshin? He misses you a lot." "Miss me?" I shook my head. "No, better not, he never liked me, and now that I've been gone for 6 years, he probably hates me even more. He likes having Jiang Jingren as his father. If you want to fulfill your sister's last wish, you'd better marry Jiang Jingren soon. That way, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and it will prevent your future husband from having to help you take care of him." Su Qinghyun raised his head tiredly. "Do we have to talk like this?" I warned him coldly. "If you don't like hearing it, we don't have to talk to each other." Saying this, I packed my things and went straight back to the hotel where I was staying. As for the Su family, there was no place left to return to. Knowing that my brother was also in China, my mood improved greatly. I rushed to invite him out. The moment we met, I could see a glow in his eyes. He took my hand, spun me around, looking at me several times. Finally, he hugged me and said with emotion, "Great, brother, this is how you should be, 6 years without seeing you." When siblings reunite, there are always endless topics of conversation. A single day vanishes in just a few hours. A few hours fly by. Just as we were in the middle of a lively chat, my phone rang. It rang suddenly. It was an unknown domestic number. I didn't hesitate for a second. I finally answered. From the other end, a hesitant female voice was heard. "Hello, are you the father of Wen Nyanshin? I am his homeroom teacher at school. He got into a fight with other classmates. I called his mother, but he asked me to contact you." My brother, who had been repeatedly interrupted, angrily took my phone. "Is Su Qinghan crazy? You are already divorced and you gave up custody. Now that you just returned to the country a few days ago, she is looking for trouble for no reason." As soon as he finished speaking, the phone rang again. I answered once more. On the other end, the teacher's voice sounded impatient and annoyed. "Mr. When Nyanshin's father, I am here. Please come as soon as possible. Adult matters should not affect the child's physical and mental development. Besides, Nyanshin broke a classmate's head. The other child's parents are insisting that you come to take the child to the hospital." I had no choice. My brother and I had to go to the school. In the teacher's office, several children had faces covered in dust, but the other children had their parents accompanying them. Only Nyanshin stood alone in the back. The parents of the injured classmate were holding their child. Pointing at Nyanshin, they showered him with reproaches. "At your young age, how can you strike so hard? Hasn't your father taught you that you can't hit others without reason?" Before this father finished speaking, several children around started laughing in a group, shouting, "He doesn't have a dad." Jun Chen turned red with anger at that moment. Like a little wolf, he lunged at them to fight again. It was clear that the Su family must have given him systematic fight training, but the other side had their parents protecting them. When he saw me at the door, his eyes turned red and filled with tears. I could see that tears were welling up in his eyes, but he tightly bit his lower lip and turned his head to stand up. I ignored Jun Chen's awkwardness. I walked in, looked at everyone, and briefly introduced myself. "I am Jun Chen's biological father. I have already divorced his mother and I don't have custody. If you want compensation, you can speak with his mother, Su Qinghan." When I finished, Jun Chen raised his head in disbelief. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him quickly ducking down and wiping his eyes. He moved quickly, as if afraid I would find out. This child used to urge me and his mother to get a divorce when he was little. And now where are these tears coming from? At the mention of Su Qinghan, several parents looked at each other. Their arrogance had softened quite a bit. The name of Su Qinghan constantly occupies the headlines of the financial section. Probably few people don't actually know it. This minor issue, even without her showing up in person, could be easily resolved. But he insists on dumping the matter on me, believing this will awaken my paternal love for him. Has he forgotten that love must be mutual? Jun Chen's dad, even if you divorced Mrs. Su, you still have to give us an explanation about Jun Chen beating someone up. I nodded. My gaze fell lightly on Jun Chen. "Why did you do it?" Jun Chen stiffened his neck and refused to speak. "If you don't want to talk, wait for your mother to arrive. I have things to do. I don't have time to waste on you." Before I could finish, Jun Chen was like a furious little beast. "They say I don't have a father. Are you satisfied? Why doesn't mom marry Uncle Jiang? He wouldn't treat me like you do, ignoring me. I hate you." I waited for him to say more, but nothing came. "When your mother and I weren't divorced, did you want Jiang Jingren to be your father? It's understandable for you to yell at me, but now that your mother and I are divorced, you can go find whoever you want to be your father." Several parents looked at each other. Whispers of blame reached my ears. Such a young child already instigating his parents' divorce. No wonder his father doesn't want him. That Jiang Jingren, I think I've seen him. He often attends major events with Mrs. Su. I thought he was Mrs. Su's husband. Who would have thought he is the lover? Jun Chen is at the age of rebellion. How could he bear to hear such words? He made a move to run out, but after a few steps he shrank back. Su Qinghan quickly arrived with her assistant and bodyguards, her face expressionless, exuding pressure. As soon as she arrived, the whole office felt more crowded. Her sharp gaze swept over everyone. "What is going on?" Everyone looked at each other, no one spoke. Jun Chen also seemed to be very afraid of her. With his head bowed, he didn't dare to breathe. I looked at her indifferently. "You're here, good. As the child's guardian, you should handle this kind of matter. I'm leaving first," ignoring the two calling after me. My brother, upon seeing me return, was full of complaints about Jun Chen. "That ungrateful brat, you shouldn't bother with him. Don't you know that after you left back then, he made a fuss demanding that Jiang Jingren be his new father? Beaten by Su Qinghan, he threatened to run away from home and almost got kidnapped. They say Jiang Jingren risked everything to rescue him, right? Those two deserve each other. I went to the bar with my brother and soon forgot the minor incidents at school, but I didn't expect that when we left the bar drunk, we would run face to face with Su Qinghan and her son. She was holding Jun Chen's hand. I don't know how long she had been waiting outside. The moment she saw me, her gaze trembled and with a grim expression she said, "Let's talk." This person, Su Qinghan, always gets what she wants. I didn't want to waste time arguing with her. So I first asked my brother to call a designated driver to leave. I followed Su Qinghan and her son to the car. Jun Chen sat in the front passenger seat and I sat in the back with Su Qinghan. The atmosphere in the car was extremely tense. I could almost hear the driver gulping. The car finally stopped in front of a restaurant door. The driver politely came over to open the door, but Su Qinghan got ahead of him. I ignored her outstretched hand and got straight out of the car. The restaurant was the same one where I had made a reservation for my birthday 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I invited Su Qinghan to join me on my birthday, but she didn't reply. Because she had booked the entire venue for Jiang Jingren, I couldn't even eat. 6 years later, she booked the entire restaurant for me herself, but now I no longer need this. I sat on the chair and got straight to the point. If you want to talk about something, say it all at once. But I'll mention two things. I cannot transfer custody and I cannot remarry either. Su Qinghan frowned with tears in her eyes. Jun Chen stared at me with red eyes on the verge of tears. But now I would no longer stay up all night to comfort her just because she mentioned Jun Chen. Finally, it was Su Qinghan who spoke first. If you don't, since you didn't like me, why did you marry me in the first place? I always thought we were a good match, that you were the most qualified son-in-law for the Su family. Her eyes showed a barely perceptible pain, but I fell into that memory that completely numbed me. You don't think that just because I was always first in my class since childhood I love studying, do you? Since I was 16, I was chosen by your family to be trained as the Su family's son-in-law. I was dissatisfied with that arrangement. I rebelled. I had an early romance and was then sent to a boarding school. I wasn't released until our wedding day arrived. Even today, I don't want to recall those memories. That's why I don't want to be your husband, not before and not now either. Before, I hadn't thought about marital harmony, parental love, and filial piety. But you shattered my hopes with your own hands and made me truly realize. The Su family is a cage that would trap me completely if I didn't leave. Now I have a new life. The best thing you can do is not to bother me. As for this shop, that night 6 years ago already made me feel disgusted. Having said that, without giving that mother and son a chance to react, I grabbed my bag and walked out. Just as I reached the door, I heard a voice behind me. I didn't know you went through all of this, but I still want to ask you, if you once hoped for a harmonious married life, doesn't that mean you liked me? If so, is there any chance for us to start over, even if it's just a little? I didn't turn around or reply, but I didn't expect that by noon the next day, my father, whom I hadn't seen in a long time, would show up. His face wore a fawning and apologetic smile. Where have you been all these years? Why haven't you called home even once? I looked at the new gray hairs on his temples, not knowing what to feel. That man who was once so strong and could control me at will was now bowing his head before me, as if all that had tormented me in the past wasn't invincible. Mr. G, if you have something to say it directly. There's no need to beat around the bush. He didn't seem to expect me to speak to him in such a cold tone. His smile froze for an instant, almost unable to maintain it. Your father didn't come for anything special this time. I just thought that since you haven't been home in so many years, you could come over for dinner. Lately, President Su has been very attentive to our family. I can see she still has feelings for you. Before, when you divorced, you didn't consult the family. Now that you're back, why don't the two families have another talk? After all, since you were 16, you wanted to marry President Su, didn't you? I saw through his hidden motive and my smile grew even colder. Are you saying, we can remarry Su Qinghan? Father Ji nodded repeatedly, those shrewd, cloudy eyes flashing with calculation once again. I couldn't help but sneer. What benefits did the Su family promise you this time? Resources, collaborations, or projects? If the Ji family can only survive by selling off their son, you might as well declare bankruptcy as soon as possible. My words were ruthless. I saw that the smile on Father Ji's face could no longer be maintained. A few years away and you think you've got wings, speaking to your father like this. If someone hadn't gossiped to Su Qinghan that I sent you to that academy, she wouldn't have suddenly withdrawn her investment in our family overnight, causing the market value of my G group to be cut in half. Today, no matter what, you must come with me to see her, he said as he stepped up to grab my arm, but I dodged him directly. However, I agreed to go back with him. It was time to get rid of that rotten tumor that was the Ji family. An hour later at the Su family mansion, I saw Su Qinghan in the living room again. Gu Nianchen was sitting beside her. I ignored them and went straight to take a seat. Su Qinghan remained silent for a moment and then spoke. Ji Yanzi, you don't need to tell me why you are here today. For me, it's best if you don't show up. Her gaze instantly darkened. After a long silence, she let out a sigh. I don't want to pressure you, it's just. She couldn't finish her sentence. The one who interrupted her this time was Father Ji. Father Ji smiled and took out a bottle of fine wine, placing it on the table. Father Ji warmly greeted Su Qinghan's mother. Come on, taste my reserved wine. This boy Ji Yanzi has always been capricious. I've already scolded him. He's back this time to get along well with you, President Su. I think we should choose an auspicious day soon and hold another wedding. He bowed obsequiously to fill the glass of Su Qinghan. Perhaps in his eyes I was always just an appendage, a tool to trade for interests. In any case, never an independent person. But the one who responded wasn't Su Qinghan but the door of the Su mansion, which was suddenly pushed open. Several bodyguards opened the door and swarmed in, and behind them entered a man dressed in a business jacket. What era is this to still have arranged marriages, and on top of that, recruiting someone from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Instantly, the atmosphere in the entire Su mansion turned icy. Father Ji rushed over politely. Dear leader, I don't know what wind brought you here. The old man snorted coldly, his gaze piercing through him like a sharp blade. The marriage law of 1950 already abolished arranged marriages, yet today you forcibly brought our colleague from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs all the way here, which is a lack of respect towards him and a challenge to the system. This is a step backward in history. With just 2 sentences, he left Ju's father petrified. Even those who had previously treated me like a servant stared open-mouthed at the old man, a colleague from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. If this is a family dinner, how could there be someone from the ministry? What a joke. The old leader ignored him and only gave me a kind smile. Yanni, come here. Seeing the old man looking at me, the confusion in the eyes of Ju's father deepened. Mr. Leader, you must have the wrong person. My son didn't even go to college. How could he be from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? A few years ago, when he got divorced, he left home lest he didn't finish his sentence before the bodyguards on both sides had already pinned him down. I stood up amidst everyone's astonished gazes, walked over to the old man, and apologized. Old leader, I am so sorry that my family matters had to trouble you to come before Ju's father could take me away. I had sent a message to a close friend who was also a diplomat. This old man was a former leader of the National Ministry of Foreign Affairs. When I started working at the ministry, I had met him once. The old man waved his hand dismissively. You are an excellent colleague of the ministry, young and fluent in 5 languages with great work capacity. Do you mind if I cut your family vacation short? Of course not. I was already looking forward to returning to work. The old man nodded. A car with a white official license plate drove straight through the gate of the Gu mansion, followed only by a few police cars. I accompanied the old leader to the back seat of the official car, and just as I closed the door, I saw those getting out of the police cars showing their badges to Ju's father. According to our investigation, the school you sent Ju to has issues. Please come with us to undergo an investigation. I haven't done anything. This has nothing to do with me. By what right are you arresting me? Ju's father protested loudly, but no one paid attention to him. The family dinner ended badly. I was about to get into the car with the old leader to leave, when suddenly I heard a voice from behind, and my hand holding the car door tensed involuntarily. The old leader turned to me and said, being a diplomat is not like other jobs. You are stationed abroad for years, and opportunities to see family are already scarce. Some things are better resolved quickly. With that said, the former leader left first. I turned to look at Su Qinghan. Junian Chen tightly grasped his mother's hand, and his tear-filled eyes looked at me stubbornly. He kept his head high. He seemed to hold back his tears so they wouldn't fall. Do you really not want to be my dad anymore? Do you really not love me anymore? Junian Chen bit his lip as if struggling to hold it in. These years, Mom and I have missed you so much. I often see her looking at your photo in the study, lost in thought. The things I said before were due to my immaturity. Can you forgive me? I saw him suddenly look sorrowful. After all, he is my son. To say it doesn't hurt for him is impossible. I can let go now, but I cannot forgive on behalf of my past self. So I looked at him calmly and gently. The time we spent together was not long. In those scant 3 years, for a year and a half you didn't have a full understanding of the world. Back then, I hugged you every day. I asked you to talk endlessly, but you probably don't remember much. Later, when you started to have a superficial understanding of the world, you preferred someone else over me as your father. Even though you called me dad and you were just a naive child, my sadness at that time was not fake. In the 6 years that followed, I was absent from your growth and never cared about your education. In theory, I have no right to give you instructions or teach you anything, but today I still want to tell you some truths. Even if you are just a child, the excuse of being just a child, Junian Chen does not deserve to be forgiven. As I finished speaking, a childish voice came from behind me. Dad, I know I was wrong. I didn't stop my steps, but in the end I didn't stop, whether deemed heartless or irresponsible, no matter how others judge me. I have already given Junian Chen the best courage. If he stays by Suinen's side, he can receive the best education and will not lack care and love. In the future, he will inherit the entire Su group. He has much more than what he imagines. Thinking of this, a slight smile appeared on my lips. My steps as I left the Ju family home grew faster. The day I returned to Finland, Su King Huan came to the airport to see me off. She didn't ask me again if we could get married again or anything like that. She just looked at me in silence and said, if I could start over, I would definitely value and love you, unlike now where I have lost you and only regret. I always thought you would be by my side. I never imagined that everything I did never made you feel happy, she said. I'm so sorry. I didn't reply to her words, I just looked up at the boarding display. The last time you also came to see me off, right? But back then we didn't say a proper goodbye. Su King Huan, let's say a proper goodbye this time, can we? After hesitating a lot, she couldn't say a complete sentence. I stood in front of her and opened my arms. Don't be so sad. After all, I am an old friend who knows you well. Let's hug. Before I could finish speaking, I suddenly found myself in a warm hug. The scent of Su King Huan enveloped me. She hugged me very, very tightly. I sighed, raised my hand, and gently patted Su King Huan's back. Her shoulders were trembling violently, and I also felt short of breath. When she spoke, her voice broke. I can only remember the good things about you. I'm sorry you're so sad. If you find someone suitable, start a new family, remember to treat them well. Su Qinghuan hugged me, shaking her head. A cold tear fell on my neck. I couldn't help but think that fate sometimes really plays with people. I always believed that Su Qinghuan had no feelings for me. That's why I left with determination and detachment. I thought my departure was the best solution for everyone, but I never imagined that in the end, it was all a series of misunderstandings. Perhaps this relationship was also a regret for Su Qinghuan. She leaned her face against my ear, her voice terribly hoarse. I'm so sad. I have never hugged you so sincerely before. For an instant, my eyes welled up with tears, but I smiled with relief. It doesn't matter anymore, Su Qinghuan. We both must move on, don't look back. She took my hand, staring intently into my eyes with great seriousness. I won't have a new husband, and Nyan Chen will always have only one dad. Because I know the past made you very sad and you don't want to forgive us. But Nyan Chen and I will wait for you. If one day you want to see us, tell me. No matter where I am, I will definitely bring Nyan Chen and appear before you immediately. My door will always be open for you. Before she finished speaking, from behind an airport pillar, a small figure ran out, Nyan Chen with red eyes. Dad, I know I was wrong. I'll wait for you until you want to be my dad again. I squatted down just like when he was little. Countless times I had comforted him like this, gently wiping the tears from his face. I'm sorry, Nyan Chen. I can't always stay by your side, but I will always be your father. No one can change that. But before dad becomes dad, he must first be himself. Passengers of Finnair Flight AY52, please proceed to the boarding gate for the boarding process. Passengers bound for Helsinki, your flight has begun boarding. I stood up. I caressed Nyan Chen's head one last time. I looked up at Su Qinghuan. Take the child and go home. With that, I picked up the small suitcase beside me and turned straight around. The plane rose into the clouds. The entire city below the lights formed a network of sparkles, perhaps.